In this, we'll start with the Solidity programming and Solidity programming basics. In the last lecture, we completed the concept of the Solidity programming basics, that is building blocks. Now, from this lecture to the next 2, 3, 4 lectures, we are going to see the Solidity programming, because this is a completely new programming to everyone. So it is very essential to go somewhat slower and learn the basic building blocks, and at least to do at least one program for every block, every building block, so that you will come to know the programming style and way of writing the program in Solidity. Hence, I am going to present for next 2, 3 lectures the basic building blocks in the Solidity programming language, and how we can code them, and how to what are the different techniques that we can use in writing the Solidity programs. So this code you can find it in the classroom, Google Classroom, that I will post it, so you can download it, and from your end you may copy and paste this code in the Remix IDE and can compile it and can run it to see the output. So in order to do the Solidity programming, you may require to have the remix.ethereum.org. You can go to this remix.ethereum.org, like here. This is the Remix IDE, where this is our online IDE, and another one is ethfiddle.com. It is ethereumfiddle.com. This is a website where you can have you can go through this website, and there also, like how you are getting the IDE for writing the Solidity code in Remix IDE, in the same way you will also find in the ethfiddle. There also you can write it and compile and get you can see the compiled output here. So either one of this you can use it. However, already I have provided the introduction to the Remix IDE. I am sticking on to the Remix itself. The one who want to practice in ethfiddle, that is up to them, they can do it. Now we'll move on to the Solidity programming basics, part 1. So the program file need to be saved with .sol extension, which is Solidity extension, and here you may have to use some online compiler to compile and test the code, as I just now I presented. Next one is this /* and // this is used for the multi-line comment, and this is used for the single line comment. Next, declaring pragma. Pragma is especially used to declare which library of the Solidity you are using. If exact library features used, that means if you are using an exact library features, then Pragma Solidity this cap symbol 0.4.0. This you are supposed to use like this. If more libraries or if libraries more than a version is used, then pragma solidity greater than or equal to 0.4.0. That means you are using 0.4.0 libraries, as well as above the libraries which was introduced above this version may be used here. If libraries of use are in between two versions, then you may use like this: pragma solidity greater than or equal to 0.4.0 and less than 0.5.0. So what is the meaning of this? You are going to use the libraries which was introduced in the 0.4.0 and 0.5.0. So till that till that library version, you want to use the libraries. So this is what the declaration, this is the first statement that you are supposed to declare as a pragma. Next, to access another Solidity file, what you can use is you can take care of the you can make use of the import statement. The import statement will be like this. So the import and another file. If it is better to have the file in the same folder so that it can be directly be accessible. For example, if it is there in another folder, like the folder like this, dot slash, for example, you have a folder called program folder, and in this program folder, if you have another folder like subpro, and if you might have written a Solidity program here, a1.sol, then you want to use in this subpro in some a2.sol, then it is better you may write the import statement like this: import, within the single quotes you are supposed to write dot slash or dot slash pro slash subpro pro slash a1.sol. So this is the way you are supposed to include the program file. Otherwise, if it is existing in the same directory, you want to include a2.sol in your another file like mine.sol, then dot slash a2.sol or simply a2.sol. Both are one and the same. So if it is in the current working directory, it is very easy for you to write the program. So this is the way you are supposed to use the import to access another Solidity file. Next, we'll move on to the keywords, which are very important and have a significant role in the Solidity programming. Not only this one, any programming, if you want to learn any programming, first and foremost thing is you must have knowledge on the programming structures. Then you are supposed to have the good knowledge on the keywords. So if you look at in C programming, there are around 48 keywords like that it will be there. So you must know where you are supposed to use those keywords. Once you know thoroughly where keywords can be used, that means 35 to 40% of the programming language you are aware of. This is what the meaning of that. So hence, the keywords such as pragma, solidity, import, ease, library, contract, interface, these are the keywords which are fixed keywords. These should be case sensitive, hence need to be careful while using them. So they should not be used as a variable name. Declaring contracts are just like class declaration in C++ and Java. Contract name should start with capital letter. This is the programming style that need to be used, or you can say these are said to be programming, or you can say the naming conventions that you must use in programming. Not only for the Solidity, but any other programming, especially where the object orientation is involved, people used to use this. In case of Java programming, we know that Java programming is a pure object-oriented programming. You look at any class, any library class, either util package or IO package or maybe any other package, all the class names will start with capital letters. For example, system.out.println. Here capital S is the system. System is a class where out is an object and println is the function in that object. This is belong to Java programming. So all the class names must be starting with the capital letter. Contract name should start with capital letter, and for every word change in the capital letter, capital letter must be observed. So what is the meaning of this? If you look at the class in Java programming, array index out of bounds exception. So in this A capital, I capital, O capital, B capital, E capital, array index out of bounds exception. So wherever the word change is there in the class name, there capital letter must be observed. Function name, variable names, and contract name should follow identifier rules. What are the identifier rules? So we have studied this kind of identifier rules in the C, C++ and Java programming. The identifier names should start with the characters or underscore. So no identifier name should start with number or any other thing, and there should not be any spaces in the identifier name. To fill the spaces, you can use the underscore, and underscore is a symbol that can be appeared anywhere in the identifier name. Meaning of this is you can write the identifier name like if you want to represent uint data. So you can also mention like this. This is also correct way of representing the identifier name. Identifier means that it's a variable name, function name, contract name. All these things are identifier names. That you may also use this data value like this, or you may also declare like this underscore data underscore value. So this is a correct way of representing an identifier. But if you use like this 9 data value, this is wrong. So the number should not appear at the starting of the variable name or identifier name. So this will not fall under the identifier rule. It is recommended to use contract name as file name, so that it will be like in Java programming, what are the main classes there? The main class name, we will place it as the file name. Actually, there is no rule that you are supposed to place the main class name as the file name, but it is very easy to identify the file. Just by looking at the file name, you can come to know what class is there inside. So that is what for easy convention and for easy accessing, that rule has been placed. But there is no rule like that. You can place file name as different name, and the underlying or the contracts that you have written or classes that you have written in the file may be different. But it is recommended. So it is recommended to use contract name as the file name. So that is so that you can easily identify what contract is available in the class. Next one, let us see the smart contract example. So we have discussed a few things here. With this, we will see some smart contract example here. Pragma solidity cap 0.5.10. So what is the meaning of this is we are exactly using the libraries that are defined in 0.5.10. And contract name. So contract simple storage. So in this solidity, just like Java programming, anything should be enclosed within the class only. In case of C++, even though it is an object-oriented programming language, C++ is not a pure object-oriented programming language. But Java programming is said to be pure object-oriented. The reason is no data or function is allowed to define outside of the class. anything must be defined within the class itself. Where in case of C++, without classes also you can write functions, main method, we can call the main functions wherever we want, and the file can be saved as .cpp and can be compiled. But Java programming will not allow like this. Anything must be enclosed within the class. Like that, in Solidity also, anything, any function or variable, everything must be enclosed within the class. There is no scope of writing the functions or any structures outside of the class. So contract, simple storage. So here look at simple is one word and storage is another word. So that is the reason, as per the principle here, it is recommended to place, or we can say naming convention. For every word change, capital letter must be observed. The class name, the contract name is started with capital letter, and for every word change, capital letter is observed. Next one is declaring variables. The declaring variable syntax will be like this: data type, access specifier, and identifier. So here is an example here, uint storage data. What is the function variable name? The variable names and function names, remember, should start with small letter, and for every word change, capital letter must be observed. So contract name should start with capital letter, and for every word change, capital letter must be observed. Like that, the function name are variable names. So we can also write like this. We can also write something here. Variable name or function name should start with a small letter, and for every word change, capital letter must be observed. So this you can add an addition to this. The reason is we have seen the convention of writing classes, but in case of Java programming also you will find the variable names or class function names. All the function names will start with a small letter, and for any word change, then capital letter will be observed. Or we can say action event. A is small letter, E is capital letter in case of Java programming. So action event, button event, okay, these kind of things. You look at the function names are represented in like this. So function names will start with small letter, and for every word change, capital letter is observed. The same nomenclature we will use in the Solidity also. Next one is the following declaration is public. This declaration is with private access, because we have not mentioned anything here because access specifier. So we have not mentioned any access specifier. So the default access specifier is private. So that means if you won't mention any access specifier, the default access specifier is the private access. In C++, we know the default access specifier is private. In Java programming, we know the default access specifier is a friendly access specifier, which is called default access. Like that, in Solidity, you are supposed to mention the access specifier here. If you won't mention access specifier, by default it is private. The following declaration is with public access. Public variables can be accessed from other contracts. So uint public storage data. So then now it becomes public. Now this becomes public. The storage data becomes public. Now defining functions. So function underscore name. If you want to mention any space, but don't mention any space here. Instead you provide underscore, or you may also write like this, function name. So small function name will start with small letter, and for every word change, capital letter must be observed. So you can also write like this, function name. Within the brackets, parameter list, you can mention any parameters, any number of parameters. Next, the syntax is access specifier. So function is a private function or a public function, that one must mention here. So the same access specifier, either private or public, that must be mentioned. If you won't mention anything, it is a public access, it will become private access. Modifier. So we'll see the modifiers concept next. That is, modifiers means whether this function, what are the values or what are the data that you are going to use in this function to be used for the viewing purpose only, or read purpose, or maybe should be placed in the memory. These kind of things are modifiers that we'll see next. Returns, the return list. What are the variables it will return or what values it will return? That is what the syntax of this entire function. So the function declaration will start like this. The function name, parameter list, access specifier, modifier, return, and return list. So here is an example. Function set data of uint data public. That means this particular function will become public and can be accessed outside. So storage data is equal to data. Now modifier view represents the data returns from the function is only for the viewing purpose only or read purpose only. So here the same function, another function which is called get data has been written like this. Function get data public. So get data, it is a function which is of public data, public type, and view returns of uint. So what is the meaning of this? This is whatever the data which is coming out of this particular function, calling this function, is used only for the viewing purpose only. Okay, that is only, it's only read only. You cannot make any changes into that. So this is the way we use the function definition or declaration. And what are the different data types that we can use? Here I have used unsigned integer. What are the other data types available to be used? Boolean data type is for the true or false values, and uint for the unsigned integer. Int is for the signed integers. That is, you can also take care of the negative and positive. Bytes, address, mapping, enum, struct, bytes or string. So these are the various data types available depending upon the problem situation or state thing that we are supposed to use these these data types. So here note on access specifiers. The internal is an access specifier, is a keyword available in Solidity which is called internal. No need to declare it as an internal. It's just like a auto variable, auto access specifier in C programming. Auto, extern, okay, this kind of things you might have studied in C programming. Auto means by default, whatever you declare, it will be by default auto. Like that. Internal, no need to declare as internal. A variable declared is internal by default. Private, if you won't mention any access specifier, by default that variable type is a private type. To make a variable type public, one must mention public as the access specifier. Now we'll see one more example: variables initialization and smart contract destruction using constructor and destructors. The same constructor is especially used in object-oriented programming to initialize the object. Whenever an object is created or initialized, automatically the constructor will be called first. And the destructor is especially used to destroy the allocated memory or deallocate the allocated memory for a particular object. Same concept will also be used in the construction and destruction of the smart contracts. Here, simple storage.solve. This is a program, and here, defining constructors from 0.5.0. If you are using a library 0.5.0 and compiler 0.5.0 and above, then the constructor will be done like this. Constructor, you have to mention like this. Constructor function like this. Constructor public. Always the constructor must be public by default. Should be made public, because if you won't make the constructor as public, the class cannot be instantiated. So constructor public. While so here if we go for the full program, Pragma Solidity 0.5.10 is the library I'm going to use here. Contract simple storage uint storage data. Now constructor, so constructor must be always public. Constructor uint memory data. So what is this memory? Memory is a kind of modifier. Whatever the data you are going to read, that must be kept in memory, and that memory will be allocated to assigned to the storage data. We have already seen in the Ethereum programming construction or Solidity program execution, where for loading the data, for reading the data, or loading into the memory, reading from memory, for everything there is some gas points mentioned. If you won't place the data which is going to be read in memory, it is very difficult for you to again assign to the storage data. So that is the reason the data which is going to be read should be placed in the memory first. So then the data which is placed in the memory, for that some gas points will be spent. That data will be assigned to the variable that you have declared in the constructor, this contract. Then automatically this data is assigned to this contract. It will be permanently there in the program. So with this data, with this value or with this variable value, the rest of the operations will go on. So this is the way of writing the constructor. Whenever we initialize this simple storage, this constructor will be called first. This way of writing is from the 0.5.0. That means whenever you use the Pragma as 0.5.0 and above, then the constructor initialization should be done like this. But in case of older versions, if you want to type or if you want to code the program in 0.4.0 version, then the contract will be written like this, function. So contract should also be written like function only. Whatever is the contract name, that should be the name of the function. It is just like a constructor in C and C++. Constructor name or for constructor is a function which is having the same name as the class name. The same structure is going to be used if you might have used the library 0.4.0. That is below any library below 0.5.0. For all libraries or for all the compilers less than 0.5.0, the constructor must be written as like this. Function simple storage uint data public storage data is equal to data. So here there is no memory, nothing was mentioned here. Simply uint data public storage data is equal to data. But it has been enhanced, and the constructor is treated like this because no need to mention the class name as the function name to represent the constructor. So directly constructor and the variable names here especially it was mentioned because whenever you initialize the constructor, this data must be kept in memory, so related gas points will be consumed by default. So it will not be treated as a normal function, it is treated as a constructor. And for constructing the contract also, for creation of the contract also, some gas points will be spent. So by taking that revenue kind of thing into mind, they have modified from 5.0 like this. So function, this is with respect to the older versions, simple storage in data by public storage data is equal to data. So much complexity is not there in understanding this. So this is the constructor related things. Now we'll go for the destructor concept. So constructor and destructor complete example. Now we are going to use the 0.5.0 and above. So hence we'll use the constructor as a function public owner is equal to MSD dot sender. That means the one who created this contract will become the owner, and owner is the address of the owner is an address. So address is a data type that we have seen here. So address is a data type, and address public owner. Now function kill. So kill is a function used for the destruction. Function kill public. A destructor should also be public in nature, like constructor. Function kill public. Check for the initiator of the destruction. Who initiated this construction? Who initiated this contract? Because normal users cannot be in a position to destroy the contract. The one who created should only be positioned to destroy it. So that is the reason, check for the initiator of the destruction. Destroy the contract only if the initiator is the owner. Because already at the time of construction, we have taken the owner's address. While destruction, we have to check whether the destruction initiated by the owner or not. Self-destruct is used instead of suicide in old versions. That is, below the 0.5.0, we used to use self-destruct or suicide kind of thing. These are the functions that will be used in the older versions. Self-destruct is used to refund the balance or leftover funds to the owner. Now here checking is like this: if message.sender, the one who initiated this kill function, is equal to owner or not. If he is equal to owner, then self-destruct of MSD.sender. So whatever the remaining balance with this particular contract, whatever the leftover balance is there, that leftover balance will be refunded to the message sender, that is the owner, and this particular contract will be destroyed. We all know that there are two accounts available. One is externally owned account, one is contract account. The one who create the contract will be having required to have an externally owned account. So the one who create the contract, then after creating the contract will be having its own account. Any operation or any taking of money or any currency or something related to the contract will be attached with the contract account only. But at the time of destruction, where the particular amount has to be sent, while before destruction, whatever the leftover money or whatever the leftover currency with that contract must be sent to the message sender, MSD.sender, and this contract must be destroyed. Thereby what will happen, since everyone know in the blockchain that who created this contract, so that they can point that person and can get their remaining amount, or otherwise this entire amount will be vanished. It will not be having any traces on the blockchain once the contract was destroyed. So that is the reason this is a regular checkup that you are supposed to make before destroying any contract. That is, before destroying the contract, the leftover balance must be sent back to the owner, and the contract must be destroyed. So this is a very, very, very important thing. If it is not done so, then whatever the currency attached with the contract account will be gone, and no trace will be available on the blockchain. So that, and also it is a it is also irrecoverable. The reason is, once the contract is destroyed, so that the traces will not be available from the next moment of the destruction. So hence it is a very, very, very important step that one must follow before destroying contract. What is that? The remaining balance must be sent back to the owner, and the amount must be destroyed. So the contract must be destroyed.